There's gonna be people that are fucking different than you. Get over it. You have to fucking get used to it.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hey, what is up? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Hey Mark, the podcast where I, Mark, get to have open and authentic conversations about things like mental health and self-development. The reason I started this podcast a while back was because I wanted to alleviate some of the pressure, the suffering from people that are out there suffering in silence like I used to be. You know, I didn't really understand what I was going through, who to talk to, or how to start the conversation. So if you are out there and you're suffering in silence, just understand these two things. Number one, you are not alone. Number two, life can and will get better for you. And so if you're down with that message, you're going to enjoy this podcast. If you're not down with that message, then you're going to fucking hate this. So I would suggest turning this podcast off right now. So last episode, I went off on a little tangent about this upcoming election, and I kind of alluded to what I want to talk about today, but this was another one of those topics where I was kind of just driving home right now. I was talking to a buddy of mine about this through text message today, and I was kind of thinking to myself during the workout I just did, I got to film an episode about this. I got to kind of get this off my chest. I got to kind of talk about this. And I've actually talked about this a few times. The first time I think I talked about this on the podcast was with Joey Foy, Sapperton Scrapper. So go back and check out that episode. But first, listen to this right here. And so what I wanted to talk about today is what I think, is a big root cause to a lot of the problems that we're going through, not only just in Canada, but also in North America entirely, and probably in many other countries as well. So I just wanted to kind of talk about this right now. And so I think this is the root problem of a lot of the issues that we're facing, both, I wouldn't say both because it's multiple things. Politically, socially, personally, tons of different ways that we're struggling with this. And I'm kind of butchering the point I'm trying to make, so I'm going to try and get straight to it. We are going through an identity crisis. And I say we because myself included. A lot of us, we don't understand who we are. We don't understand our identity. We don't understand, that's the best way to put it. We're going through an identity crisis. And, that's manifesting in a very, very negative way. First of all, part of the problem here is because we don't have identity, because we don't really know who we are, and that's completely normal, that's completely fine. Like I said, that's part of what this podcast is about. But part of the problem of not having, a true identity or a clear idea of what your identity is that you start to attach your identity to, your ideas, your opinions, your beliefs, or whatever labels people give you. Or even some labels that you give yourself. So this is pretty dangerous because we see this in so many ways. In the last couple years looking at this pandemic, there's been so many times that people are being labeled, They're being labeled anti-maskers or pro-maskers. They're being labeled anti-vaxxers or pro-vaxxers. And we're so quick to start to jump onto these labels, but not only that, we start to add these labels together and kind of compound them. And I'm going to try and explain what I mean. Recently, and again, this is something I alluded to in my last episode, I've been reaching out, speaking out on my Instagram page about being anti-mandate. I've been kind of speaking out about this vaccine passport and this vaccine mandate that's going on right now in BC and in Canada entirely as a whole. And a lot of people have been reaching out to me and saying, hey, I don't really align with your stance on the vaccine, but I appreciate where you're coming from. You seem compassionate. You seem, passionate, not only compassionate, but passionate about this. And so I appreciate where you're coming from. And my response is very simple. I haven't even spoken about my opinion on this vaccine. And again, that's nobody's fucking business what my opinion is, but I can share it if you like. DM me and message me and we'll talk about it. But people are assuming because I am anti-mandate that I'm anti-vaccine and that I'm anti-mask and that I'm, pro this or pro that. And they start to assume all of these different things about me. And I'm using myself as an example because I think that that's, I guess, the best way to explain this. But, we can't start to assume what everybody's values, beliefs, opinions, or anything like that, views, what they think or what they stand for by just one idea that they have. And I don't think that you can start to attach someone's ideas to their identity and start to label them this or label them that, because ideas, opinions, things like that should be fluid. I could have an idea on, I guess, literally pick any fucking controversial topic right now. You can take fucking abortion, because that's blowing up in fucking southern states right now. You could take this mandate, for example. You could take climate change, for example. You could take fucking literally any topic you want to talk about. And someone could have a stance on that. And if they're an intelligent fucking person, I'm not talking about educated, I'm talking about intelligent person, and say they're rooted and they're fucking, say they don't believe the fucking climate change is a real thing. And then new facts come out the next day. And someone could have those facts and start reading them off to said person. An intelligent person should be able to fucking detach from their own ideas and say, okay, these are the facts. They're being presented to me in an honest and authentic way. There's no fucking bullshit. It's just the facts. There's no opinions. There's no anecdotes. I'm just looking at facts. And by looking at these facts, I was wrong about X, Y, and Z. And because of that, I've changed my opinion. I don't understand why that's not a fucking thing anymore. I don't even know if it ever was a thing. Because ever since I was a kid, I've seen people starting to use these, labels both on themselves and the people around them and start to attach identity to them. When at the end of the day, like I said in my last episode, we're all Canadian. We're all going through a tough time right now. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. And this isn't a pessimistic view. This is what I think is a realistic view. I don't think that life is going to get any easier anytime soon. We've had it so good for so long, literally my entire life, that it was bound to get a little bit difficult. And the only way to kind of navigate out of these tough times, the only way to navigate out of this difficult time is when we unite together. I mean, anytime I've been in a fucking team, and I played a lot of sports growing up. Obviously, like every other stereotypical Canadian, I grew up playing hockey, but I also played rugby. I played on tons of different teams. And outside of sports, I've been on many different teams as well. Sales teams, different work environments, whatever. You understand the point that I'm trying to make. When you're a part of a group and everybody in that group is going through the same fucking problem, whether it's losing in a sports game, or I guess maybe working in a restaurant, going through a huge rush, or if you're on a sales team and having to crush a huge quota that you're not set to meet right now. Anytime I've been a part of a group and we've gone through the same struggle as a group, when you start to see the group bicker and argue with each other and start to label each other and start to fucking place blame on each other and start to do all these negative fucking actions and behaviors, that's when the group loses as a fucking team. And the only times I've ever, been a part of a group and been through a tough time and then come out of it on top is when everyone can put their own fucking bullshit aside in their personal life, in their work life, whatever it is, and see the person sitting across from them, no matter who it is, and want the fucking best for them, because understanding that when they win, you win. When you're on a team, that's how it works. And the way I'm looking at it right now is we have to stop fucking labeling each other and setting identities on these fucking labels and actually start to act with compassion. But not just act with compassion because you want to fucking win, but actually start to have compassion for the people around you. Understand that when every other Canadian wins, you as a Canadian win. And that goes for everybody across the board worldwide. I'm talking specifically to Canadians right now because that's the majority of my audience, and I'm Canadian, so it's easier for me to kind of relate it to that. But if you're American, if you're European, if you're fucking any other country, fucking African, wherever the fuck you're from, it doesn't fucking matter. And stop fucking, stop using these labels in the first place. I'm going off on it right now, and I'm still doing it. Stop using these fucking labels in the first place. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We all need to fucking live and survive and succeed and have the freedom to fucking make mistakes and have the freedom to educate ourselves and have the freedom to educate each other. As soon as we start to label each other, it psychologically, or I guess subconsciously, tells us that we're different than that person. And if we're different than that person, we need them to fucking lose for us to win. Plain and simple. In the last couple of years, we've had so many conversations about, this group in Canada, that group in Canada, and how this group has done something wrong to that group. And I understand injustices have been done. And I think that, when you make a mistake, you better fucking be ready to pay the consequences. But that being said, the more we start to attach these labels on everybody around us, the more we separate and divide society, and that's what's fucking making us lose right now. So I guess this is going to be a pretty short episode because I don't think that this fucking topic needs that much explaining. But it doesn't fucking matter what color your skin is. It doesn't fucking matter what fucking gender you are. It doesn't fucking matter who you fuck. It doesn't matter who you marry. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. That is not your identity. And I know that we've been told this our entire lives, and it sounds kind of weird to hear and to think about, but the color of your skin is not your identity. Where your fucking parents were born is not your identity. Who you fuck is not your identity. What group you fucking want to choose to belong to or you get told you belong to, that's not your identity. As far as I'm concerned, your identity coincides with how you fucking treat yourself, how you fucking treat the people around you, and how you perform under pressure during tough times. Because this is a tough time right now. And so it's very demanding on everybody. And what it's demanding is that we step up to the plate and act with love, act with compassion, act with acceptance. These are the things that Canada was founded upon. And the US too, right? This isn't just Canadians. This is the American. This is everybody in the world. This is what the human race is founded upon, is understanding that there is differences, but we don't care. It doesn't matter. We have compassion and we have acceptance. It does, like every single religion in the world has kind of found this belief to be true. And I'm not a religious person. I don't go to church, but I remember when I was a little kid, I did. And the only thing I kind of remember is love thy neighbor. And I'm not trying to be facetious about this. I'm just saying that truly is the main thing that I pulled out of, my experience at church. And so I guess if I were to leave you guys with one thought, with one thing before I go and make dinner, because I am a little bit fucking cranky right now because I'm a little bit hungry, is look, stop fucking putting labels on people. You can't assume that they believe X, Y, and Z just because you found out that they believe A, B, and C. And just because they believe A, B, and C, and that might be different than what you believe, that doesn't make them a bad person. They're just a different fucking person. And I don't know what schooling you went through to think that, judging somebody because they're different or discriminating on somebody because they're different than you or have different views or hold different values. I don't know why you would think that that's acceptable, but I'm seeing it so often right now, both in real life and on social media, and I'm getting fucking sick of it. Stop fucking labeling people. Stop accepting the labels that people give to you because you don't want to have confrontation or a tough conversation to say, dude, you can't fucking assume that about me. That's pretty much all I got to say. And again, I know I was pissed off last episode, and I know I'm pissed off today. And maybe it's just because I've been recording either right after work or right before dinner, so I'm either tired or hungry. But look, we have to stop labeling each other. We have to stop fucking attaching our identities to these labels and attaching our identities to our opinions, our views, our values, whatever the fuck you want to attach your identity to, and start to understand that you are not your gender, you are not your race, you are not fucking whatever label has been put on you or you've put on yourself. You are the representation of how you treat yourself, how you treat other people, and how you fucking deal with tough times. And I'm not trying to say that in the sense that, you know, if you do fold under pressure, you're a bad person. What I am trying to say is, if you do make that mistake, to try and learn from it so that it doesn't happen again in the future. That's all I got. So, again, I know I might be a little bit, pissed off, and I'm going to get back to just talking about mental health and self-development in a more direct way, because I sincerely believe that the last 2 episodes, this one and the last one you might have listened to, I do believe that is extremely, tied to mental health and self-development and how, we're going to deal with mental illnesses or difficulties or even just small struggles in life. But we have to start getting it together in terms of labeling each other and figuring out our own fucking identities. And so I'm going to go and make dinner right now so that I stop yelling at my phone. But after that, I personally am going to take a look in the mirror and take a good fucking hard look at myself and start to figure out my own identity, because I've even been getting lost in this shit as well. And so if you have as well, like I said in the very beginning of this podcast, you're not alone. Life can and will get better. We just have to fucking work for it, and we have to have compassion and acceptance and some tolerance for one another. There's going to be people that are fucking different than you. Get over it. You have to fucking get used to it. That's all I got. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting. Much love and peace out, baby. Let's go.